All right, everybody, welcome back to the Extra Innings podcast. I'm your host, Elijah Rodriguez. And yeah, guys, we're here after a weekend full of baseball. Lots of great pitching performances that I've seen. I didn't actually get to watch a whole lot of baseball this weekend, unfortunately. I was at a wedding, so I missed the Mexico series. I was trying to watch it at the wedding. Terrible service, didn't get to watch it. Kind of sucked. But some crazy stuff happening definitely as of yesterday regarding uniforms. Friday, I didn't get to make a video Friday. Like I said, I went to a wedding, so we were doing stuff on Friday. Wedding was on Saturday, so I didn't get to even make any social videos on Friday. I had posted ones that I had already had done because I know Jackson Holliday got options. So we're going to talk about all that today and kind of just give a recap of some of the kind of headlines and news that happened over the weekend as we go into this new week of baseball. So what we're going to start with is a positive note because I've shit on the Astros. I've been shitting on the Astros for a couple weeks now. I don't know why this mic keeps spinning around. This thing is ridiculous. Anyway, so the Astros have been struggling. They've been on the struggle bus. I've made multiple videos. I think my last podcast episode was all about the Astros and the Dodgers. But they got Framber Valdez back this weekend. They swept. Granted, I'd say it was the Rockies, but a sweep is a sweep, especially on a stage when they're playing in Mexico City in another country. Lots of people watching, a lot of interest in those games just because baseball being played abroad is just growing exponentially, whether that's in the UK, whether it's in Mexico. So big stage for sure, big stage. And they showed out. They did well. They played well. I think that they won yesterday convincingly. I mean, bad. It was like 8-2 or something like that. So the bats, like I said, I've said it multiple times, the bats are there. It's not the bats that are the problem. It's the pitching staff. But let's see. I just want to check the scores. So Sunday they won 8-2. Yeah, 12-4. So they just went the fuck off this weekend. Like, not even close. It wasn't even close. The last game they played was on Thursday. Then they go on into Saturday, 12-4. So played well, showed out well. They knew that was going to be a big piece. But aside from that, I have no negative news for the Astros today, man. So Framber showed up on Sunday, pitched 5 scoreless innings, and they swept. I'm not sure you can ask much more. That's what you've been That's what you've been wanting. What you've been hoping for. So slowly but surely they're putting some stuff back together in Houston. They're putting some puzzle pieces together because they got Framber back and he looked great. No, sometimes guys come back and you're like, I don't know, he just doesn't seem the same. He seems kind of weird, not as sharp. Framber did the complete opposite. Maybe, I was a little worried that it was going to be a little bit more serious and they were maybe just kind of gatekeeping a little bit more of the information, but he was Framber on Sunday. I mean, there was no question he was Framber Valdez. So he looked good. You've got Christian Javier through a bullpen I read. He's feeling good, so he's on his way back. He'll be back soon. You just got Verlander back. So there's a lot of things to be excited for in Houston at this point. The bats woke up if they weren't already awake. And now your pitching staff is slowly but surely making its way back to full health. I'm looking at kind of some of the news here. The bats are fine. He pitched. Okay, so Framber's been gone for almost a month. Yeah, since April 2nd, he threw 71 pitches. Yeah. Wow. No 5 hits, no walks, 6 strikeouts. No. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he looked good. He looked really good. I'm not gonna even. There's no why lie. He looks good. So, and then the other thing, kind of in Astro news, they're gonna pull up some top prospect. Luperfido. I don't know his last name. Kind of weird. But yeah. So, in Astro news, I guess, kind of moving forward here, so we can get into. I got a bunch of topics today, man. So, positive notes: they're getting some pitching back. Their bats are on fire. They swept this weekend, which is a big, they got some energy on their side. They're feeling good. They're gonna need that energy because they got freaking the Guardians coming up tomorrow. To either today or tomorrow. I think today. No, tomorrow. So they're facing the Guardians tomorrow. Guardians have a league best record right now. They're on fire. Absolutely on fire. Let me see something real quick. So we got the Guardians. So they're out right now playing. They are playing. Well, they were playing the Braves, which was a tough series for the Guardians. But the Guardians are freaking stacked, 19-9, bro. Jesus. So they got walked off on last night from Austin Riley. I did watch that, so that was interesting. But they got the Guardians coming in. The Astros have the Guardians coming in this year. I mean, this week. So that'll be interesting. That's a tough team. So I'm hoping they can keep that momentum. I'm hoping they can keep that energy, those good vibes they're taking, bring them back from Mexico, and do something because they're gonna need everything they can get. Now, next on the list we have. Okay, so first so there's uniform changes happening, so we'll talk about that. But I have to talk about the Mets City Connect uniforms. The gray with the purple. I'm looking at it now. Let me see. Mets City Connect. Oh man. Yeah, yeah, wow. So it's got like a pinstripe, but it's like a dark slate gray with dark gray or blacker, darker pinstripes. NYC looking like it's from the 20s, which is totally sick. I think that's awesome. Just they look like I saw a comment and I can't shake it on Instagram. They look like they're wearing concrete. It looks horrible. That is, oh my God. Let me see if I can share the screen so people can see this. Yeah, here it is. So, what the hell? Dude, that is like, okay, you comparing City Connect jerseys. Look at how sick the Philly one is. Bias maybe. I think the blue ombre is sick with the Philly written like that. That looks so cool. Maybe I'm being biased. I don't think I am. I think that's just a cooler looking jersey. The hats for the Mets, not bad. I mean, you got the bridge on there. That looks cool. But just the slate gray. What is that? That's so boring. Like, and then the purple, where does the purple come from? New York? I mean, does that have, I've been in New York multiple times in my life, and I've never seen the significance of purple. I thought this was supposed to be something that was supposed to be like deep within, rooted in the city. I don't know what this is. Yeah, so Mets fans, let me know how you're feeling about these jerseys. If you liked them this weekend, I'm speechless. That is, there is something, and this is what we're going to talk about the jerseys, about the uniforms. There's something happening, or whoever is making these I know that the City Connects come from the teams themselves. Get that, but whoever's designing uniforms, whether that's for the teams, whether that's like who's making the final decision through MLB. I'm not a guy to call for people's jobs, but fuck, you need to be fired, bro. You need to be fucking let go. You need to never step foot in anything related to fashion again, anything related to performance durability. Whoever made this decision, whether he's at MLB, whether he's at Nike, wherever, Fanatics, wherever the fuck this guy is, this group of people who made this happen. And I'm segueing into something else here. Obviously, I'm not talking about the City Connect specifically anymore, so we'll take that off. City Connects, okay, some of them are ugly. I mean, San Diego's we're not even going to talk about that jersey. That was outrageously weird, and the yellow with I get that that's like their vibe, San Diego. I get it, but nah, dude, not it in my opinion. But talking more towards the uniforms and the whole thing with that, we'll move away from the City Connects. I just thought that just looked like concrete, looked like. Which, I mean, fuck, you're in New York. I guess you want to look like you're from the city. I don't know. The jerseys are ugly. But so, it's kind of to recap this whole jersey saga, the uniform saga. If you didn't know, Nike started making, the MLB jerseys. They moved, I mean, obviously this was a couple years ago, quite a bit ago now that I think about it. Majestic made them forever. They made that move over to Nike. Totally fine. Nike makes NBA jerseys. I think that they did a great job making the jerseys the last X amount of years. The Nike jerseys look sick. I mean, I have one myself from New York, so it looks cool. It looks awesome. I can't say anything more. I actually have two. I have a Rangers one and a Yankee one for my boy Jose, my boy John when he was still at Texas. And I think those jerseys are great quality. They feel nice. They're not too thick. They're not too light. They feel premium. They're nice. They're a nice jersey. Well, if you didn't know this year, and I'm sure everyone in the fucking world's heard about the uniform debacle with Major League Baseball and Fanatics and Nike in the Players Association, the jerseys are fucking horrible. They look like you got them off of Wish, like you bought them at the fucking flea market. They look horrible. They look awful. I mean, there's no other way to put it. The names look like miniature size. You had, Carlos Rodon at the beginning of the year was sweating like profusely through his jersey in the opening season. It looked awful. It looked uncomfortable. How that man pitched with like a 30-pound shirt on him, like soaking wet, I have no idea. So they were like, well, these are going to be better performance-based. They're going to have more sweat-wicking material, which they didn't. They actually held more sweat than they did the prior years, which is wow. Like what the fuck? I remember when I watched opening weekend, and Rodon was pitching. I think he had the Apple TV game that Friday, or Friday or Saturday. I remember I watched the fucker live. Actually, I may have not watched it on Apple. I think it was through the Space City TV channel that the Astros have. I think I was watching it on there, but I just remember watching and seeing Carlos Rodon just like dark gray from the sweat, and the color differences from his pants to his jersey was just, it looked so stupid. And like the fact that MLB is letting this happen, and then they're like, oh, we're gonna eventually change them. So if you didn't know, before I even get there, so there was an announcement this weekend that MLB was planning on making adjustments, or Nike was going to plan to make adjustments to the jerseys for 2025. So that means all year they're going to have to wear this shit garbage jerseys. They've made a few improvements, quick, fast improvements for some of these jerseys, but I don't think it's enough. No. Morning coffee is awesome. But so, that people see pictures of them, they leak, obviously. There's no way you can keep anything secret these days. So they leak. Everyone sees this thing. This is during spring training, or like it's right before spring training. I was discussing. These jerseys leak, and everyone sees them, and people start clowning, thinking they look like they are bought off of. I've never bought anything off of Temu or those weird like China shops that you can buy and then it ships from overseas, all that crap. Like a DH gate, I guess. They look really awful. I mean, horrible. I mean, they look bad. So they made a couple adjustments. Names got a little bit bigger. Numbers got a little bit bigger, whatever. But when they went to take their team pictures, guys, and everyone saw it. I mean, if you didn't see it, Google team pictures or MLB uniforms, and you'll find pictures. Dudes, stuff was, you could visibly see it. Their pants were fucking see-through. You can see their jerseys tucked in or see their underwear. Like, this was embarrassing. Embarrassing for Major League Baseball. Embarrassing for Nike. And if it was me, I'm going to be 100% honest, I'd have a really, really hard fucking time going out and taking pictures like that for the world to see, knowing that I look like this. As a Major League Baseball player, you're just like, this is fucking embarrassing. Since when does the NFL have problems like this? When does the NBA have problems like this? Never. Because you don't fuck with the uniforms, dude. It's not. Major League Baseball has been playing with the same fucking uniforms, different changes here, maybe special uniforms here and there, whatever, for fucking years. Why would you try to fix something that's not broken? I'm truly trying. It frustrates me because it's probably for money. Nike probably struck a deal with Fanatics because Fanatics wanted in on the jersey thing because they think they're entitled to Major League Baseball shit because it's fucking Fanatics. Not a fan of Fanatics if you can't tell. And now we have this garbage. So, moral of the story, don't fuck with uniforms that haven't been fucked with for years. That's my opinion. And quit making ugly fucking uniforms. Let's just Keep baseball the same. Why do we have to change everything? It's so stupid. But on top of the jerseys looking like absolute garbage, they rip. They hold sweat. I mean, there's a pants ripping epidemic right now. You got Cody Bellinger rips his pants sliding to third. There's a guy on the Tigers that full on. I mean, the pants just look like they were breakaways, just ripped and down the leg when he slid home. And then Will Smith the other day slides into second base and just pants rip at the knees. I mean, since when do pants rip so easily? These guys have to have a different pair of pants every night. I mean, there's no way they're wearing the same pants just washing them. This isn't college. This isn't high school. So they have to have different pants. Unless they have like lucky pants, but they have to have different pants quite a few times throughout the year. I'm assuming that was a new pair. I mean, unless he wore it maybe 2 nights in a row. But the point is, and the other thing is, like, okay, from a technical standpoint, I've noticed that where they're ripping is normally where guys are sweating. It's on their ass cheeks. So if it's maybe thick, or they have some ass sweat or something like that, maybe it rips when it gets too heavy. I noticed it ripped on Will Smith's shins. Maybe he was sweaty on the legs, slid, ripped where it was heavy. That's just something I noticed when looking at the pants and where they're ripping. I don't quite know. Like I said, I'm making an assumption on where I've seen the pants rip, but it's still never seen more pants rip in a season in my entire life than I have here, and especially at Major League Baseball. That's ridiculous. Pants be ripping all over the place. Yeah, you see some every so often. Dude went fucking hard, whatever. Pants rip. It's funny. No, this is like it's happening over and over and over again. So happy Major League Baseball finally addressed the problems they have with the uniforms. Upset that they're going to not make any changes till after 2025. So nowhere. It went nowhere. The jerseys are a mess. And anyone who's a real fan of baseball will tell you the same. All right, now that I'm not so angry anymore, I got that off my chest. I've been mad about the uniforms for a long time. I've been upset. We're done with the uniforms. Okay. Now, quite frankly, one of the biggest moves that happened this past weekend. Like I said, I was really busy this weekend, so I didn't get a chance to make a video or really talk about this. And it happened on Friday morning. Happened early. Search this here so I can get some stuff here. Okay. So like I said, it happened very early. It happened on Friday morning. Was the Orioles optioned Jackson Holliday down to AAA again. Okay, so let's talk about Jackson Holliday. Jackson Holliday is a guy out of Stillwater, first-round overall pick, son of Matt Holliday, MLB legend. I mean, depending on how you see him, he was an MLB legend. He played with a lot of teams that I love, so I think he's going to be solidified in my head as a legend forever. You may think differently, but Matt Holliday's a stud. His son Jackson here, also a stud, no question. First-round overall pick out of Stillwater High School. Fuck man, this guy's young as shit. Anyway, so he was a stud, and like I said, obviously first overall pick. Made a lot of buzz when he was playing. Then went to gets drafted first overall. Plays in the minors, absolutely rips up. I mean, I'm looking at his in 2022 when he got drafted. Obviously, short season. He batted .297 with a .489 OBP and a .911 OPS. Go off one time, bro. 2023 with 4 different teams. So he moved obviously from, last year he was like A plus, AA, AAA. He was owning it. All in all that year, 125 games played, 477 at bats, batted .323 and a .941 OPS. Damn, holy shit. And then here we go. So in this year, minor leagues, before they pulled him up, he was batting .300 with a .986 OPS. But then if you look at right here, so we can compare. So in minor leagues, he had 50 at-bats this year in minor leagues before they pulled him up. 18 runs, 15 hits, 2 home runs, 9 RBIs, 1 bag swiped, 300 flat batting average this year in the minors, so in AAA. 446 OBP and then a 986 OPS. So he was tearing it up. Big league ready, I think. I think so. And this is where, so everyone's saying, well, there's two sides to this. You rushed him. He wasn't ready. Why'd you rush him? All that. And then there's the he's not good enough. He's a bust. He's not gonna be back in the big leagues. People that say that he's not gonna be back in the big leagues or that he wasn't ready obviously don't know this game as well as they think they do. 1. 2, you know how many big league players that are studs now who made it to the big leagues, who came up and just weren't totally ready yet, got sent back down, and then come back up and go on an absolute tear. Cowser, one of the guys for him. Henderson went up and down and stayed up there after some time. So it's especially in the Orioles organization, it's not news for them to pull a guy up, say, hey, we may have premature put you up. Let's bring it back down. Let's get some more work in. Let's figure out some other shit. And then, whether that's the same year or next year, they put him back up there. It's totally normal. He may even not make it up back up. If he doesn't make it back up this year, if I'm Jackson Holliday, if I'm the Orioles, hey, no big deal. You got your taste of the big leagues. You know what you need to do to succeed here. Get back in the minor leagues, fix those kinks, fix those problems, see the ball better, work on it a little bit more, and maybe you come back later this season because the Orioles are going to make a run. The Orioles are stacked this year. They have a great team, great pitching staff, great bullpen. He was just going to be another addition into this. Like I said, if he comes back this year, great. We'll utilize him. I'm sure they'll find a way if they think he's ready. If he comes back and they don't think he's ready, let's say that later this year they're just like, they look at the player development guys, look at his coaches and say, yeah, there's just maybe not this year. He could go into spring training next year and make the 40 out of spring training. You don't know. I mean, that happens. There's so many possibilities for this kid. I think he's still ready. I don't think he's still ready. I think he's still good. I think he's going to pan out. I don't think he's a bust. He'll be okay. He'll make it back to the big leagues. No questions asked. So the minor league stat line, let's share the screen here so you guys can see. So the minor league stat line, hold on guys. Boom. So the minor league stat line here, I say doesn't necessarily represent how well he played in the big leagues. Okay, so like I said, so we had 50 at-bats in minor leagues this year, which he's already had some this past weekend. I'm sure he's been playing. 18 runs, 15 hits, two home runs, 9 RBIs. Yeah, we already said that. His MLB stat line is fucking brutal. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. It's rough. We've got 34 at bats, 5 runs scored, 2 hits, and 34 at bats. 1 RBI. That was like his second game. He got that RBI. A buck 11 OBP, and then a 170 OPS. And a 59 batting average. So he was on the struggle bus. Slumping, maybe. Maybe it was just a routine slump. It happens to the best of players. Look at Judge. Look at some of these other guys. Gavin Lux was in a slump. You got guys that just slump. It's part of baseball. So everyone thought for a little while, hey, maybe it's just a terrible timing for a slump. I think after a while it was kind of like, yeah, maybe there's a disconnect here. Because I mean, dude, the numbers from minor leagues, you got 300 minor leagues and then a 59 batting average in the big leagues. Like that is, and I will say, as a guy who knows, I know that there is a huge, huge, huge difference. People may not know that, they may not think it, but from AAA to the big leagues, the jump is immense. It's a huge jump. It's a different kind of game. Like, yes, AAA is the next best thing to the big leagues, but there's still a massive, massive jump between the two. It's not, there's no correlation at all. It's 2 completely different ball games you're playing. And I think that's part of the issue. I think the adjustment period, he just needs to mature a little bit more. He needs to understand a couple of more things about himself, about the game, about the way he plays the game before he can go out there and solidify himself in Major League Baseball. And I think that's a piece of work that hadn't been done yet. I think that he was brought up a little premature. Do I think he's a great player? Absolutely. Do I think he's going to be a stud at some point on a big league roster? Absolutely. Do I think it was just a slump? I think it was a mix of a slump and just being a little bit out of your element. I think that's what it was. I think that it was just too much, too fast. And I wish they would have had this same with Paul Skeens. I wish they bring Paul Skeens up faster. But that's another story. But since we're talking about prospects, I do have a thing about Paul Skeens. Everyone's like, "Where's Paul Skeens?" And I've made videos. We've talked about him on the podcast. Where's Paul Skeens? Why isn't Paul Skeens in a big league uniform? Yada, yada, yada. Well, I'm a little worried. Not worried, but I still, looking at his inning totals in minor leagues this year, he's like at 3 innings, 4 innings, 4 and a third, 3 and a third. They've got him on like seriously close not pitch clocks, pitch counting, like pitch counts. So he's like at certain pieces. They need to let that. He's for anyone that's like, where's Paul Skeens? I want Paul Skeens in a big uniform. You're gonna have some time to wait because the dude hasn't thrown more than 5 innings in AAA. Shoving, absolutely. He's a stud pitcher. Not taking that from him because he's not the one imposing these pitch counts. So I think it's going to be a minute before we see Paul Skeens. Just talking about Paul Skeens here on the same kind of prospect conversation here. It's going to be a minute before you see Paul Skeens because, in my opinion, if I'm Pittsburgh and I see Paul Skeens, I'm sitting here going, he's going to have to give me at least a couple outings of 7+, 6+ inning outings before I'm like, all right, come start in the big league. So a minute for Paul Skeens. But back on Jackson Holliday, dude's going to be fine. Dude's going to be okay. It's not the end of the world. He didn't stay in the big leagues. Very few guys really stay there. It's normal, part of the game. All right, so pitching performances. So look, like I said, there was a lot of great baseball play this weekend. I'm upset that I missed it. I saw some highlights yesterday. I watched the ending to the Cubs. And who was it? The Cubs and God, somebody played the Red Sox. The Red Sox who walked it off last night. But dude, we had some pitching this weekend. So Cole Irvin from the Orioles, 7 innings pitched, 4 hits, no runs, no walks, 5 strikeouts. 7 innings pitched. That's a hell of a start. That was on Saturday. Then you had Hunter Green. Hunter Green shoved. I did see those highlights. Hunter Green shoved. 7 innings pitched, 1 hit ball, no runs, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts. What the fuck? What a weekend for those two guys. No, it just keeps going. Tanner Bibby, 7 innings pitched, 2 hits, no runs, no walks, 9 Ks. Whew. Charlie Morton showed up as well. 7 innings pitched, 4 hits, no runs, 1 walk, 6 Ks. So oh my God, Ranger Suarez, 8 innings pitched, 3 hits, 1 earned run, no walks, 8 strikeouts. Dude, people showed the fuck up this weekend to pitch. Oh my God, this is all on Saturday. This is all Saturday and Sunday. Holy shit, guys. Jordan Hicks, 6 innings pitched, 5 hits, no runs, 0 walks, 9 Ks. Okay, so talking about Jordan Hicks for a second, I was so fucking worried when they moved him. You know, he gets traded from St. Louis. Everyone knows Jordan Hicks as the fastball guy. He throws 104, wicked movement, nasty shit. Everyone thought that. I thought he was going to solidify himself as a closer for a long time. I was like, this guy can close. This guy's the real deal. They trade him to They trade him to San Francisco, and they make him a starter. When I heard that news, I was like, this guy's cooked. He's fucked. It's over. Jordan Hicks is done. There's no way he pans. I've only seen him throw in a closer role, a setup role. He's a 7th, 8th, 9 guy, 9th inning guy. So I was like, I don't know. Can he sustain? Is that a track for injury? Is he able to sustain? And I feel like sometimes I grossly underestimate some of these guys. So yeah, he's a starter now. His is his line for the weekend. He's doing really well. He's been lights out. 6 innings pitched, 5 hits, no runs, no walks, 9 Ks. So Jordan Hicks, you've solidified yourself, man. You're a stud. George Kirby, another guy, showed up this weekend. He pitched on Saturday. Or Saturday or Sunday. A career-high 12 strikeouts. 7 innings pitched, 12 hits, no runs, 1 walk, 12 K. You know how many guys played 3 to 5 hit ball? God damn. Let's keep going because there's more. Here we go. Kevin Gausman back from the IL a couple weeks ago. Let's go. So that's interesting because the Blue Jays were on a 7-game losing streak or something like that. Tough. So they needed a good outing. Gausman comes in, gives them a fucking awesome outing. 7 innings pitched. These guys are going deep into games, man. The perfect number for a starter. If you're a manager, if you're a whatever, and you need to start, you need a fucking, bullpen's been taxed. The best thing to get out of your starter is 7 good fucking innings, and a lot of these guys gave it. So a lot of bullpens got some rest this weekend. I'll tell you what, because a lot of these guys are 7 innings plus. All right, so yeah, Kevin Gausman shows up. Jose Quintana for the Mets shows up. 8 innings pitched, 3 hits, 1 earned run, 1 walk, 3 Ks. Not a lot of strikeouts, but dude got some fucking outs. Hell yeah, dude. Dude, there are so many pitching performances this weekend that I missed, and I am so fucking mad. Screwball, another guy. Obviously, we know Screwball's been on a tear for a bit. Been on an absolute tear. 7 innings pitched, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 1 walk, 6 Ks. So Screwball goes off. Studs, man. So Kimbrel blows a save as of yesterday to the A's. The A's are on one. We'll talk about the A's in a minute. I wanted to talk about Shohei, but I feel like we talked about Shohei enough. We're going to scratch Shohei hitting 119. Quick, before I finish my pitching, you know what? Fuck it. Let me finish my pitching thing. So Kimbrel, we're going to talk about Kimbrel. We're going to talk about Kimbrel because he has been shaky. And then Tanner Houck, oh my gosh, again, Tanner Houck putting on a display last night on ESPN, 6 2/3, 4 hits, 1 run, no walks, no walks, no walks, no walks. That's a beautiful stat line, no walks, 9 Ks. So Tanner Houck is on a tear. I'm going to analyze the ending of that game on socials today because that shocked me a little bit, but we'll talk about that later. Anyway, so many good pitching performances this weekend. Hold on a second. What was I gonna say? So I'm kind of like I like this. There's so many pitchers that just decided to go off this weekend. Insanity. Pitching's at its best it's ever been, and hitting has been at the best it's ever been by far. So I wanted to talk about Shohei. Not really in the mood to talk about Shohei again today. I just feel like he dominates the headlines, and sometimes there's like other things to talk about. But Shohei goes back to Toronto. That was a big thing because he was in talks to go sign with them. Didn't end up signing with them. Signs with LA. So there was all kinds of animosity towards Shohei in Toronto this past weekend, and he answers the boos with 119. Whatever. I mean, cool. Good stat. He went off. I mean, shit. Shohei's gonna go off. He's fucking Shohei Ohtani, dude. I feel like people like sometimes expect less from him, and I'm like, why? He's literally Shohei Ohtani. Like, what more are you gonna take? I mean, what do you expect? Do you expect less from him? Come on. So Kimbrel, yeah, we're gonna talk about Kimbrel. Wyatt Langford is a guy that, as I'm kind of just going through some of these news, some stats here. Wyatt Langford. So last year, the Rangers broke out at a really young team. Great fucking chemistry, win the World Series. They have Evan Carter come out of nowhere. They had Nathaniel Lowe come out of nowhere. They had Young. All these guys, young dudes tearing up, pun intended there for Josh Young at third, come in and make their fucking stamp on the game. And then just when you think that the Rangers had all these guys, like all these young guys, and maybe the Rangers are off to a slow start this year, they lost Young with an injury. They've been riddled with a couple pitching injuries here, and they still don't have DeGrom. They don't have Scherzer. They still have Eovaldi. They got Gray. Gray's been struggling a little bit, so they're on the come up. They're making their way back up. They still got strong Corey Seager, Marcus Semien. They've got Tavares. They got some guys. They got Leader in the on deck somewhere, waiting to make his way back up. He's going to be good. Then when you get DeGrom back, you get Scherzer back, it's going to be even better. So you're kind of just playing the waiting game in Arlington, hoping that they can get all the stuff taken care of by the time postseason rolls around. They can keep that record strong enough. But then they pop out Wyatt Langford, monster, absolute beast, tearing it up, fast as fuck, dude. This guy's a monster. Hits his first home run, and it's inside the park because that's how fast he is. So another crazy stat line. That's insane. Go off one time. Anyway, Blue Jays were on a 7-game streak. I think that got snapped. There's, like I said, I hate the weekends because there's so much that happened over the weekends. But we'll move on. We'll talk about the Yanks, man. Let's talk about the fucking Yankees, dude. I love talking about the Yankees. Yankees went off this weekend, dude. Went off this weekend. They had Milwaukee. There was a big deal with the slide at second. I did see highlights on that where Judge slides in and the ball hit his hand with sliding mitt, and they said that was illegal, but then they ruled that it didn't, and they said that they missed the call, but he slides like that all the time. Personally, I'm a Yankee fan. I'm a Yankee fan to the death. I will always be a Yankee fan. I think Judge gets special treatment sometimes, man, and I don't like it. I'm just gonna be honest. As a baseball, I'm a Yankee fan, but a baseball fan. And as a baseball fan, you want that called correctly. You can't fucking slide with your hand straight up. We all know what you're doing, bro. Sliding with your hand straight up and you're 6'8", 6'7", however fucking big you are, and you're sliding on the ground with your hand straight up. About as tall as me still. That's in the line of somebody. Yeah, clearly we know what you're doing, bro. We're not stupid. Sliding with your hand up, straight up in the air. Come on, dude. So yeah, we know what you're doing. The fact that they didn't call it is making him like the Tom Brady, and then they're like, oh, well, you missed that call. Call it fair, man. Call it fair. Come on. Compilation of Judge sliding with his hand up. Yes, he does it every time. But he's one of the few players I've ever seen even really do that. Anyway. So, the Yankees go off 15-5 yesterday. And then 15-3 on Saturday. Dude. Talk about going off a weekend, dude. That's 30 fucking runs in 2 days. The Yankees are on a tear we have never seen before, dude. Like, this is insanity. They're 19-10. They just beat a team that's 17-10. So like they're beating on good fucking teams. It's not like they're beating up the Chicago White Sox or they're beating up, the Reds or something. Like, they're beating up teams that are fucking good, man, that have some talent, which is even more encouraging to see. We got Trevi to pitch this weekend. That was funny. And then hearing that they were about to go back to him again because they were up 15-5 was fucking funny. But it would have been cool to see him play again. But you got guys like, Soto's just having a fucking monster year. The big thing with Soto is people are asking, like, is he going to sign mid-year? Are we worried as Yankee fans if he doesn't? No, I don't think so. I think that personally, me, if I'm Juan Soto, right? I'm throwing in Juan Soto's body, and I'm sitting here saying I love being a Yankee. I'm having a great time being a Yankee. I want to be a Yankee forever. Who doesn't, right? If I'm Juan Soto, I'm thinking I'm playing the year. We're going to play. Light just turned on. That was kind of weird. We're going to play, and then we'll worry about this in the offseason. I'm not worried about contract negotiations mid-fucking year. Does it worry some people? Absolutely. Do I think the Yankees are going to do something stupid and trade him away like a mid-year trade or something? No. It'd be stupid to do that. That'd be stupid. If they did something stupid like that and they got rid of Soto, I would at that point, I would 100% reconsider being a Yankee fan if they got rid of Soto at any point, whether that's after the season, because he's only here for 1 year, so we got to figure something out with him long term. I'm still not worried. I'm not worried yet. But if I don't hear anything like later down the line, like I'm talking August, September, because the Yankees are going to be playing in the postseason. If I hear some shit, because I really don't think by July when the trade deadline hits that he's going to go anywhere. He's not going anywhere. They're not getting rid of Soto. Soto's a monster, and that'd be absolutely comical if they did something like that. I just don't think that now's the time for them to start talking contracts or negotiations or anything like that. Let the kid play, deal with it after the season. But Juan Soto is absolutely dominating right now. Insane. But really, everyone on the Yankees is. You got Volpe going off, Rizzo going off. You got fucking Trevi, who was in a terrible slump, going off. Your pitching staff has showed up, bro. And, whether they're shaky or not, they've been battling through some starts. You've got Verdugo going off. I mean, dude, you've got guys on here that are just Torres. Just everyone is having a fucking day, every day. Obviously, that's not going to last. They're going to go through peaks and valleys. It's baseball. But as a Yankee fan, this is an exciting time, man. It's fun to be a Yankee fan right now. It's fun to be a Yankee fan right now. So I'm going to ride this wave as long as I can. Stroman 4+ innings yesterday. Didn't have a great outing, but like I said, they still went out. They still won. 4 strikeouts, 5 walks. The walks are what hurt the most more than anything, I think. But Rodon pitched well. 6 innings, 2 hits, 1 earned run, 1 walk, 8 Ks on Saturday. So, yeah, awesome. I'm so pumped to be a Yankee fan today, baby. All right, now, I hate talking about people being cooked, but we have to talk about Kimbrel. I think he'll be the last topic before we get to Kimbrel. We'll talk about the Cubs being 17-9. Cubs going off, bro. What? The Cubs. Let's see this. Let's see some shit here. Let's see some Cubs stats. Give me the Cubs. All right. Banged up Cubs hanging tough. Yeah, they are. They're fucking winning games, dude. Except for last night. So last night I was watching. Okay, so the Cubs and Red Sox. Okay, I'm just gonna hit on this, but I'm gonna make a video on socials for this. So I turned it on late. Like I said, we were driving back from Dallas. I was fucking exhausted, laid down. I was just gonna watch some baseball. I turned it on in the bottom of the 9th on ESPN. 4-4 game. Runners on first and third. I mean, I watched like maybe 5 minutes of this game. So they give up. Devers gets a hit. Moves over. I forgot who the fuck it was. It was a guy who was fast because he made it from a single. He made it from first to third. Aggressive, awesome, honest base running is awesome there. So he makes it to third, first and third, no outs. Bottom of the 9th. You got Leader Jr. on the mound, and O'Neill at the plate. I told my girlfriend, I was like, dude, this game's fucking over. He's gonna do it. He needs a pop fly or a ground ball, infield in. So it was a weird situation. So, like, if you didn't know, O'Neill's been going off. O'Neill has, he's been just absolutely tearing it up. Let's look at some of these stats here. So, Bellinger kind of going off 226. Where is Swanson's kind of going off 238? So, we got some mid-range batting averages here. I'm looking at the Cubs. No, the Red Sox. Red Sox haven't been playing too bad either. Obviously, they could be better. They need some pieces, but not horrible for the Red Sox. However you say his last name, has been dealing, though, so that's a really high point. Yeah, 329. So Tyler O'Neill is just absolutely dominating. Connor Wong, 343. So the Red Sox have some pieces, man. All right, but back to the Cubs. So it's a weird situation, like I said, because you have runners on first and third. O'Neill's been going off. He's been going off. He's been peppering balls all over the outfield for the last, week and a half or so. What do you do? And this is like in a situation, like I don't want to go too deep. I want people to tune in on my socials for this breakdown. But you have Dansby playing in at short and third baseman playing in, and you've got your left fielder playing back because like nothing falls here. We need to make this and gun him out at home because he's any pop fly in the outfield is a tag play. Dansby, a little Texas leaguer gets hit in between left and short. Third baseman can't make that play, obviously going straight back. So Dansby's running back. He bobbles it with the left fielder like 2 feet away from him, and they lose the game. I thought that the left fielder should have been coming in all the way and hustling in. I get that he was playing really far back, but at the same time, I don't know. But anyway, so the Cubs, 17-9, dude. 17-9. Go off one time. It'll be interesting to see. I just had to talk about that. They got a tough break last night. Doesn't bother me in the slightest. The Cubs are on to something. Insane. Have some injuries here and there, but they're still an electric team. They're definitely on my watch list. But aside from the Cubs, like I said, I wanted to talk about Kimbrel. So earlier this week, I was watching MLB Network, and there was a game on. Kimbrel, there was the Angels. It was the Angels, and they almost lost that because he almost blew that save. And I was kind of like, man, is Kimbrel kind of he has not looked Craig Kimbrel in a long time. But I know that with pitching and everything that we can talk about this all day again with pitching and as time goes on, as your tenure in the league goes on, all this time, things got to change. You got to reinvent yourself. Velo's not always going to be there. You're getting older. He's 35. So there's a lot of different factors here. I get it. A lot of different factors here. And Kimbrel's been in the league for a long time since he was with Atlanta. Then he went to Boston. He was with the Phillies last year, the last 2 years. Then he's with the Baltimore, with Orioles now. So he's been all over the place. But 9-time All-Star, like I said, he's been around. He's been around for a minute. But then now that I think about it, and I'm sitting here kind of going through it all, when he was in Philly, he was very hit or miss. When he was on, he was on. When he was off, he was way the fuck off. I mean, dude, off. So I think that same kind of repertoire, the same way that he played there, is kind of trickling into here. Like I said, he's getting older. He doesn't have 100 mile an hour anymore. He still has mid to high 90s. I think he tops about 98 now. I feel like that's so stupid. Like, oh, he's only throwing 98. Well, when you used to throw 100 flat every single pitch, yeah, it shows. I don't know if he's cooked or not. He said he has a back injury. I think maybe that's what the issue was. Like I said, every time I'd seen him earlier in the year, he was nails. He was good. So maybe that was what this was. Because like I said earlier last week, he was not the same. He wasn't the same. He got through some outings here and there, but then this weekend he blew another save, and then he said his back was fucked up. So maybe that's what it is. And I didn't know that. I just saw that last night he blew another save. So I was like, oh my God, what's going on? Craig Kimbrel. Still stud though. Still stud. I'm curious to see what they say. They have no timetable on him, which is a little worrisome because he is 35. They use him a lot. They've used him a lot. He's a guy that's easy to go to in your bullpen, so it'll be interesting to see. But like I said, guys, a lot of stuff happened this weekend. I'm trying to keep this as short as possible. I know it went 47 minutes. I could have dug in deep in a lot of these, but there's so much stuff to talk about. But yeah, so we'll have some cooler topics coming up this week. I'm hoping that there's some developing things I want to talk about, but we'll wait till they happen, if they happen, because I got MLB Network here, so I'm gonna check that out. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for listening. Like I said, this was a good weekend of baseball. Not a lot of controversial stuff happening. If there was a couple pieces, but I don't want to say it on here. I want you to tune into our socials to check it out, what I think about some stuff. So be sure to follow us on TikTok, follow us on Instagram, follow me on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. This will be up on YouTube and on all streaming services. So if you haven't followed us on YouTube, we have shorts on there. We have breakdowns on there. So be sure to go check us out, man. We got some good shit out there. So thanks for listening, guys, and we'll catch you guys tomorrow.